Going for your first big overnight hike can be extremely overwhelming, but if you prepare your body properly, then it can go from overwhelming to enjoyable and a lot less intimidating. In this video, I'm going to tell you the exact training plan I used to hike 266 kilometers in 5 days along the Australian coast. I also have a PDF in the description below that outlines the entire program in a lot more detail. For many experienced hikers, going out for a couple hours of hiking, spending the night, and then coming back in the morning seems like no big deal. But for an unexperienced or untrained person, this can be a huge challenge and even lead to some dangerous situations if you aren't properly prepared. For that reason, I'm going to outline a plan that you can use to prepare your body for your first overnight hike. For this example, we'll use a 10-kilometer hike where you spend the night and then come back another 10 kilometers in the morning. So there's two main sections to this training plan: general fitness and hiking specific training. The general fitness section is where we build up the ability to walk 10 kilometers. If you can already do that comfortably, then you can skip this section and move on to the next one. The very first step is to start walking. If you haven't been spending time on your feet, then you need to build up your lower body strength, endurance, and resilience. The goal of the walking stage is to build up to a total weekly mileage of 20 kilometers, since that's the distance we'll be traveling during this overnight hike. 20 kilometers shouldn't be your goal right away. Start slow and take your time progressing. Just like every single section of this training, go at your own pace. If you feel like you're getting pushed too hard or you're not able to keep up with the programming, then take a few days off or repeat the previous week. So 20 kilometers a week works out to about 3 kilometers a day. So that should be your first goal. Now you can break that up any way you want. You could do a simple 30-minute walk in the morning, or you could do something like a 10-minute walk after breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Not only will this help with consistency, but it'll also help with digestion and blood sugar control. Once you can average 3 kilometers a day without any problems, it's time to start building up the endurance. So an easy way to do that is to go from doing 3 kilometers every day to 6 kilometers every other day. This is going to be one of the easiest ways to build endurance in your legs while still letting your body recover. One of the biggest problems that arise on long hikes is the impact on your feet and joints. This can lead to a lot of soreness, but it can also lead to some injuries if you have any imbalances. If any issues come up, it's very important that you address them and not try and push through the pain. Work on walking symmetrically with your feet pointed forwards. Afterwards, stretch out any tight muscles and use a foam roller or a lacrosse ball to work out any knots. So at this point, you're still gonna stick to training every other day. But what you're gonna do is you're gonna slowly increase the mileage of one training day and then decrease the mileage of the next training day. And you're gonna keep doing this week by week until you work up to doing 2 10-kilometer walks in a single week. And even when you're doing these longer walks, it's important to keep up the weekly consistency so that you're still doing shorter walks throughout the week. And once you can comfortably do 2 10-kilometer walks in a week, it's time to put them back to back. And after you complete that, you can officially graduate from the general fitness stage. Now that you have a base level of fitness, it's time that you enter the hiking specific training section. What you're gonna do is add some difficulty to your hikes using 3 main variables: weight, terrain, and incline. The weight is fairly simple. Just take the bag that you're planning on going hiking with and fill it with the equivalent weight of the gear that you plan on packing. One of the easiest ways to do this is just fill up old water bottles and put them in your bag. For the terrain variable, it's time to get out to some challenging trails. So go out and look for some terrain that matches the hike that you're planning on doing. If you know there's going to be lots of tree roots, loose rocks, or big boulders, then find some similar terrain and practice walking on it. You'll be surprised how different it is from a sidewalk or a groomed trail. For the incline, you'll just have to find a large hill that you can walk up and down repeatedly so you can practice your climbs and your descents. For this whole section, some customization will be necessary. Do some research about your intended hike and change the program to fit your needs. For example, if you know that your hike involves a ton of steep climbs on mostly groomed trails, then you can swap out a few of the terrain days for an extra incline day. Whereas if your hike is mostly flat, but has a bunch of uneven ground and loose rocks, then you may want to focus more on the different terrain training. Now, to incorporate these variables, we're going all the way back down to 3 kilometers per day. However, 3 of these walks will be done with your weighted bag. And of those weighted walks, 1 will be done on uneven terrain and 1 will be done on an incline. On the normal walking days, you can choose to take a rest day if you really need it, but going for a walk and getting the blood flowing is probably one of the best ways to recover. For the next couple weeks, you'll follow the exact same format, but you'll increase the distance of the weighted walks. Now do this slowly and follow your own pace. If you can't handle the new distance, simply repeat the previous week until you're feeling a little more comfortable. After you've built that volume up to around 7 kilometers, you're gonna drop all the walks down to 3 kilometers again, but add a 10-kilometer weighted walk. Once you can comfortably do this, it's time to do 2 back-to-back 10-kilometer weighted walks. And once you complete that, you're ready to take on your 10-kilometer overnight hike. Now, all this preparation will make your life a whole lot easier. But if this program seems like a bit too much for you, then just go out and hike. You can always choose a shorter hike, but even if you are doing a really long one, with enough time, food, and water, you'd be surprised at how much distance you can really cover in a day. After all, the best way to train for a hike is by hiking. So choose some shorter hikes and go do an overnight on the weekend. Not only will this prepare your body, but it also teach you which items are necessary and which items you probably didn't need to bring. If you found this training plan useful, then check out the link in the description where you can get access to the free PDF, which has the full in-depth training plan that I used to hike 266 kilometers along the western coast of Australia. And if you're planning your first overnight hike, then check out our playlist for some more informational content and things that we recommend. And you can also check out our adventures to see exactly how we plan our overnight trips. Hope you enjoyed this video and tune in next time for another adventure.